Hey everyone, welcome back. We've been away for a little bit. We're sorry about that, but we're back with a new show. This is the Hollywood Purgatory, coming to you at night on Tuesday in California. In
Mhm.
Southern California, I am Jeffrey Harris. Hi everyone, and in Northern California, in Sacramento, we have Jay Snook
Hey
of the
there, how's it
Commit
going?
Project.
What's up? How's it going?
Hey Jay, so how have you been? It's been a minute since the last time we talked, so it's good that we're back on
Yeah,
the
not too
air.
bad. Just, been tired. It's been, crazy, insane with work and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Life happens sometimes, but now we can
Welcome.
relax.
Hey.
Now we can just sit back, relax, and talk about entertainment and what have you. I noticed you're wearing your Deadpool shirt.
Yes, I am.
Did Think Jam or 20th Century Fox send you the
I
Blu-ray?
did. I did get the super duper cut. Yes.
I have not dived into that yet,
hmm
but I'm very much looking forward to it just because it's been so busy lately.
hmm hmm
With some projects and interviews I've been doing. Still setting up interviews this week. Have a very exciting one. A couple I can't talk about. One
hmm
I'm hoping for. Do you know who CM Punk is?
No.
Okay, you know who he is, right?
What has he been in?
John Cena was in
Oh, you mean John Cena? Is that who you
from
said?
he was in that movie Blockers. Remember that movie?
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard. I didn't hear John Cena. No, no. I know who John Cena is. Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard. That's not
Well,
what I heard.
he's a former wrestler like John
Oh,
Cena, and
okay.
he has a new Netflix show coming out called Ultimate Beastmaster.
Mm.
And we're hoping to set something up on Friday. So fingers crossed.
Nice,
I will
nice.
be talking to see that. I've been a huge fan of his for a long time, so hopefully that'll work out. We've got some movies we want to talk about, some video games.
TV show.
We want to talk about TV shows, entertainment news. So we're gonna just dive right in. We're gonna
hmm
start off with our movie things. So we had
hmm
quite a few movies this month. I think the big sort of sleeper hit, I guess, was Crazy Rich Asians, which I haven't seen yet.
Neither have I.
Apologies, but I did see the Meg.
hmm
So this movie has been in really development for the better part of 20 years.
Wow.
Finally comes out courtesy
hmm
of director John Turteltaub, who
hmm
directed the National Treasure movies I really love, by the way. And I'm very disappointed we've never gotten our third one. So we have the Meg.
hmm
So we have the scientists. They go underwater to
Oh,
the
before we get in, we should, even though they've been out for a while, there's still may not people who have seen them. It's just a possibility,
Okay, we're not going to go too spoiler heavy here.
but
This is
still, just there will be some
all
stuff.
right. We're going to talk about the movie, okay? But this is not going to be one of our deep spoiler cuts, okay? This isn't
Yeah.
a spoiler cast. We're just going to give our general thoughts on the film. So just
Okay.
fair warning, whatever. I'm not going to talk about any spoilers for the
Better
film.
be safe than sorry.
Whatever.
hmm
Okay, so the scientists, they're conducting research in the Mariana Trench.
hmm
They discover this sort of, what do you call it? Some sort of oxygenic layer, some
Something
sort
like
of
that.
chemical layer, and
hmm
they go beneath this layer and they discover sort of the true bottom of the Mariana Trench.
hmm
And then there's a giant prehistoric shark there.
And a giant squid before that, or is that an octopus?
It was I think
It was either a squid or an octopus. It was
well
one.
I mean I forget. I think it was a squid.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So they have these prehistoric life forms,
hmm
including the Meg, which was sort of this apex predator shark.
hmm hmm hmm
Jason Statham has to go back. He's this sort of underwater rescue Navy diver expert. He
hmm
goes underwater to save them, gets them out, but the megalodon, Meg is short for megalodon, follows them back up to the surface and starts eating everything in sight and wreaking havoc. So
hmm
then Jonas, played by Jason Statham, and the other scientists have to band together to kill this shark. We have Rainn Wilson playing this billionaire.
hmm
Ruby Rose, who just got cast as Batwoman.
hmm
She's in the film as another scientist. Jay, what did you think of this film? Was this Was this film worth all the hype?
Well, let's put it this way, because first of all, unlike you, I wasn't too excited for this film. I really wasn't. To me, it looked just like bigger Jaws. Honestly, that's what I thought about it.
But it's not anywhere near as good as Jaws.
No, I won't say that, but I will say this.
What?
I didn't hate the movie as much as I thought I would. I'm like, it was good. I can't say it was mind-blowing. I can't say it's something you've never seen before. I can't say you have to go see it now. But I didn't hate it. I left going, okay, that was better than I thought it was going to be. I wouldn't say I'd watch it 2, 3, or 5 times, but it did have a few little twists and turns along the way. I was like, all right, I actually didn't see that coming. All right, that was kind of cool how that happened. So, you know,
I probably know what you're referring to.
Yeah, and it's really not Jason Statham's best, but it's not his worst either. I've seen him do much worse than that.
He's been in some real stinkers, but
yeah,
I mean,
like Mechanic Resurrection was pure garbage. So he was better in this.
The first Mechanic wasn't that good either, by the way.
Although I will say the whole love thing, this was kind of weird and not as strong as it should have been. But
yeah, he has a romance with Li Bingbing, who's another scientist in this film. Yeah. That was really dumb. Like, they had first of all, they had no chemistry, no chemistry whatsoever there, right? And you didn't. And second of all, she has an annoying little daughter. So we have the little kid syndrome that you don't need in these movies. And I don't know. I didn't believe that they were really.
So let me ask you, because you were so excited for this film, what did you think of it?
I was disappointed because I wanted like this really high concept creature feature, and I don't really feel like they delivered with that. The shark, I want to be terrified by this shark. Okay. The shark was not terrifying at all.
No, it wasn't.
It was big. It looked okay, but I was never terrified of this shark. Like, when you first see Jaws, you're scared of that shark, are you not? Like, you're in suspense of that shark and what it's going to do, right? I didn't feel that at all for this film. I'm a fan of the books that were written for this series, and I've wanted to see this movie get made for a long time because I'm obsessed with sharks, and I wanted to see just like a giant prehistoric shark in a big movie, just swimming around, and I wanted to see like a shark like jumping out of a wave and like just swallowing a surfer whole. Like, do you remember the end of Jurassic World? The last Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, and when you see the Mosasaurus like about to eat those surfers, that's what I wanted. I wanted to see more of that in this movie, and I think the Mosasaurus was like more scary than the Meg.
Yeah, I agree.
I think my big problem, I didn't find the shark scary, and I think most of the movie was just sort of dumb. But I mean, the movie did its job because it's doing fairly well for itself. It's not doing huge business, but it's done fairly respectable business. It's made $412 million worldwide. Wow. I don't know if that's good enough for a sequel, but it's doing okay.
I don't think they should do a sequel. I mean, because
that's not your decision, Jay.
True. I'm just saying they shouldn't do it. Doesn't mean they're not going to do it.
Well, the point is, there are like 4 or 5 books written by Stephen Alton in this series, so they have source material to make more.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: since you've read the books, did this follow the source material that much?
It's wildly divergent, I would say.
Okay. But was it like true to the source material, or did they kind of go and do their own thing?
They kind of did their own thing. Jonas Taylor, his background, I think, is different. He has an ex-wife, but his ex-wife is like the typical evil ex-wife. And like in this movie, he has sort of even though the character that plays his ex-wife was sort of, they had a decent relationship, even though they weren't married anymore. And she was not a bad guy. She wasn't a heavy or a heel. So they did change it quite a bit. But I was just disappointed with what we got from Meg. and the shark in the film, and it just wasn't. I needed more carnage. Like even when you see the shark attacking the beach and all those, it wasn't that scary. You weren't like that should be terrifying. You're swimming in a beach with all these people around, and then a shark comes in and starts like just biting you. That's like that's like a living nightmare, and I didn't feel it at all. It was just too goofy, and there was for a movie with a giant man-eating shark, there was no bloodshed at all. There was no blood, no carnage. It's a very tame PG-13. They made a movie that kids could go see, and I'm a little
maybe it should have been an R rating.
I mean, that's my personal opinion. They should have gone full R, but from a studio perspective, they probably think if it's PG-13, we can be open to a wider audience and we'll make more money that way. And from their perspective, that was the right decision because the movie opened at #1 and it made money. So that was the Meg. Any final thoughts from you about the film, Jay?
Not really. I mean, I think I pretty much said what I could say about it. Like I said, it wasn't garbage like I thought. Okay, I was expecting to leave and just be like pissed, and I wasn't pissed. But I wasn't. My mind.
I wouldn't say it was garbage. I just thought it was a mediocre. Was what I thought it was.
Yeah, and I think I'm on that same page. It's something like I didn't mind watching once, but I wouldn't really watch it again.
Now, talk about garbage. Wait until we get to our next film that we're going to talk about.
Okay, we're gonna have different opinions about this one.
The Happytime Murders, from
Brian Henson directed.
Brian Henson, the son of Jim Henson,
that was
creator of the Muppets, starring Melissa McCarthy as a detective who teams up with a puppet character named Phil Phillips, played by Bill Beretta, who's a longtime Muppet performer. And they're trying to solve these sort of murders toward this old children's show.
Yeah, the Happytime Gang.
Called the Happytime Gang.
Which Elizabeth Banks was in. Her character was in. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was directed by Brian Henson, who's longtime director for the Muppet Studios. I mean, he co-created one of my favorite shows, which was Farscape. Classic sci-fi shows. I mean, a pretty talented cast for the most part. I just didn't think this. Here are my thoughts. Like, if you saw the trailer for this, you don't the Red Band trailer, so the rated R trailer. You don't need to see the movie because all the most shocking bits are in the Red Band trailer. That's and they're not even that funny, but. Go ahead, Jay. What did you think?
So here's what I will say about it. Melissa McCarthy, through most of it, does drag the movie down, at least for the second, like the first 2/3 of the movie. A lot of stuff she does isn't funny.
That was Elizabeth Banks? Oh, my God.
Melissa McCarthy, I mean.
No, Elizabeth Banks was the other lady in the movie.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
I thought she looked familiar.
So anyway, as I was saying, Melissa McCarthy through most of the movie, they try to have her be the comedic relief, and it falls flat most of the time. But I will say this, in the last 1/3, they actually go, hey, let's go serious now. And then I like the character better because I'm like, hey, like, you're getting like, the backstory, why they have their history, why they have their issues, what, and all that stuff. And that was kind of cool seeing. I thought Phil Phillips was a great character. I thought he was the strongest. I don't know if this is true,
but do you know what I read before we got on the air?
What?
I read that this was just written as sort of a straight, like, R-rated, but just sort of like a straight detective noir, like film noir thriller. Like,
yeah. And I'll say through.
And they didn't make it, and they didn't, like, reconceptualize it as a shocking sort of goofy comedy until later.
Yeah, and I'll say this, Phil Phillips kept a lot of those parts going, but I think personally what would have helped the film is either Melissa McCarthy be more serious, because when she, like in Spy, she was really good in that because she wasn't just zany crazy the whole way through. So she was too zany crazy for most of this.
Right.
And
my feeling, Melissa McCarthy can be very hit and miss.
Yes, I agree. And
like The Heat. Have you seen The Heat?
Yes, I have.
The Heat is good.
Mm-hmm.
I think Spy is good.
Yeah.
Don't like Identity Theft.
Yeah.
Bad movie. Ghostbusters was disappointing.
I thought she wasn't bad in it.
Okay, but like the movie itself, I was not.
Yeah, it wasn't what fans expected. I think it could have been worse. But anyway, so going back on this, though.
But no, my point is Melissa McCarthy, like her humor, her general style that she plays here, it can be hit and miss. And this movie, I just didn't find her shtick amusing most of the time.
Yeah, and I agree. But the movie itself, Phil Phillips is good. It's actually kind of a cool whodunit because these characters are all being taken out, and I really was going, man, who
one
is
of them is his brother.
That was kind of cool.
Like his personal interest is one of the murder victims turns out to be his brother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He knows the people getting killed.
And I kind of like seeing,
and he used to be partners. The other twist is he used to be partners with Melissa McCarthy's character. Yeah. So he's sort of like this disgraced LAPD detective.
And I thought it was cool where they had, you got to see puppets and humans together, and there was a lot of racism against the puppets, which is kind of interesting, and getting to see where
they didn't do much with that angle though.
Well, I'm not gonna say that a whole lot, and then kind of seeing the dark side of the puppet world too, where some of them when their shows it in, you could tell they've gone down dark paths. So it wasn't bad. I mean, I can't say.
My point is, I think the movie's not for. I mean, they tried to make this movie funny, but it's not that funny.
I agree.
They tried to do. The movie tries way too hard by just showing. The humor comes from the fact, it's puppets like cursing and doing gross, sort of shocking adult humor.
Mm-hmm.
That loses its novelty about 10 minutes in.
Mm-hmm.
I will agree with you. I think the movie is strongest when it's shedding the comedic aspect and it's more serious.
Mm-hmm. Dramatic, I agree.
But
and Phil
for the most part, it didn't work. It didn't. I don't think it worked because I think they tried too hard for cheap, gross out, shocking humor, and that to me that rarely you have to be a very talented comedian to make that type of shtick work. Normally, gross out shock humor doesn't work for me. Like, did you see Sacha Baron Cohen's last movie, like The Brothers Grimsby?
No, I can't say I did actually.
Okay, well,
that Sausage Party comes to mind for me. Sausage Party for me was a movie that was just gross out humor most of the way throughout, and I hated that movie.
All right, well, my example is The Brothers Grimsby, which it's just doing lowest common denominator, like the grossest humor possible. And sometimes, I'm not saying that can never work. Like I genuinely enjoy Something About Mary, that movie, which is 20 years old now. But
yeah, but that's a good movie. I agree.
Like, I think that's a good movie, but I think you have to do that type of humor a certain way. This movie did not do it. And so let's see. If I told you this movie got 21% on Rotten Tomatoes, what would you say to that?
I would actually, because here's with me with this movie. This is another movie I went in. I'm like, this is going to be really good or really bad. I'm going to either like this or I'm going to hate it. And another movie where I left where I didn't hate it, but it's another myth.
So when you're saying it would either be really good or really bad, you're saying you were wrong.
It was in the middle, really. Like it was.
So you were wrong when you were saying it would either be really good or really bad.
Yes. So this is a movie where I actually might watch.
Get off the fence. Get off the fence, Jay. Take a stand here.
Yeah, this is a movie I might watch one more time, but I wouldn't watch like 5 or 10 times. It's just the reality.
I have no desire to ever see this movie ever
But
again.
I think this movie, it had potential. It's like they did kind of squander it with Melissa McCarthy.
I think my feeling is if they dropped all the gross out shock humor and they got someone not better than, they got a different foil for the Phil Phillips character than Melissa McCarthy, I think it might have been a better film.
It would have. I agree. It absolutely.
And it's not because I don't like Melissa McCarthy. I just think I don't think she gelled with the story of the script for this film. Was my feeling.
Yeah, I agree.
Am I being unfair, Jay?
No, because you're right. Most stuff she did, you're just like, this is just what the hell. It wasn't really funny, you know. And she did she actually dragged the story down in some of the parts. Some parts she literally dragged the whole film down. You're just like, you just yeah. So that wasn't good.
So I wouldn't really recommend either film. If you like sharks and you want to just see like a big budget, like giant shark thing, maybe see The Meg. Or if you would see The Meg, I would say wait for Netflix or Redbox or whatever.
Yeah, I would say if you're going to see Happytime Murders, matinee or the discount theater. I mean,
I would not even recommend. Don't even see it in theaters.
Some people will like it though. Some people love comedy like that. They really do. I know people who love comedy. I don't, but I know people who do. So if you're in the mood for a stupid, like, you know, weird comedy, you might enjoy it.
But
that's the truth.
Crazy Rich Asians was #1 again this weekend. That movie's doing very well.
I think they've already talked about doing a sequel to that, actually.
Yeah, I think the sequel already got announced.
Yeah, maybe I'll get a review copy of it because, like, you know, yeah, it might not be bad. I don't know.
I haven't seen it yet, but it's doing well. It's getting great reviews. So I'm probably gonna have to see that one at some point. Did you see Christopher Robin, by the way?
Oh yeah, we talked about that though, didn't we?
Did we talk about that one?
Yeah, we did. I think we talked about that the same week as Mission Impossible 6.
Right, I think you're right. Just because that was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was.
So, it's been a few weeks. It's been a few weeks since our last. Oh, what about Mile 22? Did you see that? Mark Wahlberg.
I did not know. How was that?
I did not. Just really quick. It's a badly written movie. Peter Berg did this. I thought Soul Survivor was like a good movie. This movie, it's badly plotted. It's really clunky. Mark Wahlberg's character is totally unlikable.
Bummer.
It does have a surprise ending, but even with what they did in it, it's not. It's like,
yeah, I wasn't sure. Yeah, I wasn't sure about this one, but I really liked him in Deepwater Horizon and Patriots Days. So it seemed like it was going that same vein, but it just, I guess, lightning.
It's kind of like this hard military thriller. Okay. And then it has these, you know, the crazy action. Because who else is in the movie? Another notable. Who's in it? Ronda Rousey is in it. She has a small role. Iko, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. Iko Uwais, the star of The Raid. Have you ever seen those films, The Raid?
Can't say I have, no.
So like, they kind of brought that style from The Raid. Had these really crazy over the top action and fight scenes. But it's very badly to me. It's very badly shot. Peter Berg just
a bummer.
He's not. He shoots it in a very awkward way, and I didn't really care for it.
Because some of the films I've seen Mark Wahlberg in lately, he's actually been pretty good. With the exception
I thought I thought the first Daddy's Home was okay.
Yeah. The first one was okay, but the sequel.
The last two Transformers movies were bad.
The last one was absolutely.
Ted 2 was horrible. Lone Survivor.
I beg to differ. I like Ted 2.
Be quiet.
Hey, I can like.
Be quiet. Be quiet. It was a terrible sequel. It was. And Lone Survivor, I thought, was a very good movie.
I never saw that one.
But Peter Berg is another director I think is very hit and miss because like Lone Survivor was good, Deepwater Horizon was good, Mile 22, and Battleship. Battleship was horrible.
I didn't see that, but that looked atrociously atrocious.
It was an atrocious. All right, so moving on from that.
Let's go to Voltron season 7 now.
Season 7. A lot of buzz for season 7.
Yeah.
Poor Shiro.
You know, so
let me just quite a bit.
Yeah, let me just dive right into this. So this is the first season in a while that actually was 13 episodes. They've all been like 6 and 7 lately. And I think 13 was the way to go with this one because
you want to know why? Because they basically each season is really 13 episodes. They just split them up.
Yeah.
So we really should be.
They should.
It should be more like 4 seasons now, basically.
So the basic gist of this season, in a nutshell, is the Paladins decide they're finally going home. For like the first 6 episodes, you get to see them getting back to Earth.
Right.
And then on their way, they find out when they were in the Quintessence field with Lotor that they were actually gone for 3 years. So everything has changed because of that.
That makes sense.
So what happens? Like they find out, hey, the Voltron coalition isn't as strong as it was. The Galra Empire is in ruins and in different factions and going nuts. And when they get to Earth, they actually find out that the Galra have taken over Earth. So for the second part of the season, you get to see them trying to get Earth back. And it's amazing what happens just through that whole entire arc. There's a lot of stuff. And of course, they did announce at Comic-Con, Shiro will have a boyfriend, and we do see that a little bit here. Not as much as fans may like, but we do see it. So that was kind of interesting.
All right. So I'm glad we finally got to Earth, since that was always sort of my big question throughout the run of this show. So it took a while, but we finally got to Earth, and I think that was a really good place to take the show. What do you think about the Lance and Allura? Some fans have some mixed feelings about that, but what do you think?
Do you mean about them getting together finally?
Yes.
I don't think it's going to happen, though, because they didn't technically have to get together, did they?
No, but it seems like they seem to be going in that direction, don't you think?
I don't know. It's hard to tell with Lance, to be honest.
I feel like, don't you think they're kind of moving in that direction for them?
I don't know. It's hard to tell with them.
Some fans were upset with what happened with Shiro. What do you think?
Well, the thing with Shiro was, it was kind of a bummer it happened, but at the same time, this season, I think Shiro grew and evolved so much into more than just a paladin that I think it was one of his strongest seasons in a long time.
See, I thought now here's the reason fans are upset. Like fans accuse the creators of queer baiting. Apparently it got so bad that one of the creators, Joaquim Dos Santos, he's one of the showrunners and one of the directors for the show.
Yeah, I've interviewed with him.
He had to go on Twitter, and apparently he had to apologize because a lot of fans were apparently upset with how they handled the reveal for Shiro this season. What do you have to say to that? Because I mean,
I don't know, because
I don't see what was bad with how they handled it.
I don't either, because
to me it's part of Shiro's story, and he's been through so much.
And it made sense of how bad things were on Earth. It made sense. I hate to say it, but it kind of did. So I was kind of torn, because on one hand I was kind of bummed. I would like to see more of that than just what we saw, but at the same time, with how the story was, it did make sense, though. It just did. So, and I will say this is actually probably the best Voltron season I've seen in a long time. I really
Did you see Dos Santos' statement on this?
I didn't know, but this season I thought was amazing.
Were they queer baiting this season, though? You think?
I don't think they were queer baiting, but it didn't hurt for him to say, "I'm sorry." It didn't hurt.
Why does he have to apologize for that?
Because they probably did raise up fans' hopes at Comic-Con, and when it didn't reach their hopes, it's not a bad idea to go, "Hey, my bad." It's not bad to do that. And
why even like make that big of a deal out of it then, if people are going to complain about it, basically?
That's
you wanted, like, do you remember the Power Ranger movie last year?
Yes.
People were saying the same thing about the Power Ranger movie.
The blue one?
For the Yellow Ranger.
Oh, right.
For the Trini character. I think to me, here's what the issue comes down to. It's a representation issue, right, Jay? And I want to be very careful with how I state this, right? I'm trying to be, I think the issue is that there's been a lack of these type of relationships and characters in these type of shows, right? I think that's the main issue, right?
And when they have been, it's had to be fake.
Right. So, and I think here, so you had the central characters
Mm-hmm.
has that orientation, and then when they finally get the chance to depict that, it's as you said, it's vague.
Mm-hmm.
Vague is a very good way to describe it. So
Mm-hmm.
so I think maybe the better thing here is not to just if you have to be vague, maybe just don't make a big deal out of it. Don't make an announcement on Comic-Con. Just talk about it after the fact.
Yeah, it might be a better idea.
Because I think I understand the emotions and the anger that goes into it.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that on a human level, but I feel like you shouldn't be attacking the creators over it, because they're trying, because they I think they agree with you, and they're doing their best to give you these type of characters and representation. I think, because
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know if you agree. I think by and large, Shiro has been a great character throughout this show, right?
Yeah, and
He's
like I
been
said,
through
and like I said, his arc this season was probably one of the best arcs he's ever
right,
had. He went
and
through so much, you know.
yeah, and I think I totally agree, and I don't think it hurts what we found out about him. I don't think, and I don't think it's stereotypical,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
I thought it was well done.
Mm-hmm.
So while I can understand the representation issue and the anger, over getting these vague reveals, I think by and large it was fairly well written.
Here's the thing.
I think but one more thing though.
Okay.
I think one argument you can make is, like, in cartoon shows, like, you can readily show like a male and female in a relationship, like Entangled, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if you showed or even implied that there was a same-sex relationship, like, parent groups would probably throw a fit and try to boycott it, right? Don't you think?
They will
Or Christian groups would probably do that, don't you think?
They will regardless, though. That's just the truth. So I think I honestly,
but my point is, I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair.
For what?
I don't think it's fair that you can show you can only show a hetero relationship in these type of things.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
Yeah, but you know what? Like I said, I get where the fans come from, because
right,
it just wasn't what they thought it was going.
Right. I understand that, but I don't think you should attack the creators over it. You know.
Well, I understand the sense where they don't, like, they have people they have to answer to as well, right? So they don't have full control over what happens.
It's like, it's a little unrelated, but like, why are people shouldn't attack Kelly Marie Tran over Star Wars, you know? Right? I mean,
Ruby Rose over Batwoman. I mean, she had so I don't know.
Like, why now that's like the other side. Like, why are people attacking Ruby Rose for Batwoman?
I don't know. I didn't see anything.
Based on what I read, like, the gay community is on her for, I guess, not being gay enough to play that character. Does that make any sense to you?
No, it really doesn't.
I mean,
but overall, so when
people need to calm down, you know.
I agree, but let's get back on point here. So, what did you think of this season as a whole?
I thought it was fantastic. This show, Jay, it is an epic space opera. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think Voltron has ever been this good. There have been so many Voltron cartoons in the past 30 however many years, and I don't think it's ever been as good as it is now.
Yeah, I can't say there was, because like in the past I've been able to say there's been a bad episode here, a bad episode there. There wasn't one bad episode this season. Even the episode where they ended up on the game show, there, like, that was kind of cool how it all worked out in the end. I like that episode
in the earlier seasons. There were definitely some lulls. Like, I'll give you an example. One episode I really didn't like is when they're stuck in that outer space mall. Mm-hmm. Like that, I didn't like when and sometimes I think they go too hard on the humor. Mm-hmm. This season has been just dark, intense, and serious. Mm-hmm. And man, I feel so much for Shiro. Give Shiro a break. He's been through.
Well, an episode
he's been to hell and back, man.
Episode I really didn't like from past seasons where Karan got that weird little bug in his ear, and they did that whole. Yeah, I hated that episode with a passion. But like I said, this season, everybody actually stepped up their game. They grew,
And we got a
they
full
become
season.
better people. So like everybody this season, everybody like grew
and we got a full
evolved, and
season. I
changed.
think the other thing is we actually got a real season this time. I know,
Yeah.
well, the first 2 seasons were 13 episodes. Then they started doing all this piecemeal garbage.
Mhm.
This was a real season.
And not only
yeah.
that, but stuff happened this season that was really intense, really unexpected, and is really going to set the stage for, I think, the next season. If they do the same thing, will be the last. If they do the same thing next season.
Do you think? Do you? I feel that's the other thing. I feel like we're reaching like kind of the end point.
I think so too. But I'm okay with that because after how this season went, it's kind of doing a good job of getting there. And
honestly, I would like them to, if they finish the show, I would like to maybe do a movie or something. Yeah. Do like not like a theatrical movie, do like a Netflix movie, or do a spinoff with Vehicle Voltron. What do you think about that? There was another Voltron.
I don't know. This is, like I said before, this is the only Voltron I've watched. I haven't watched the previous ones that you have.
Right. Well, I think there are possibilities for what they could do with this franchise. I think they could, because sometimes after a show you can do a movie continuation.
They probably would. I wouldn't see why they wouldn't.
But I mean, if they want to keep, on the other hand, if they want to keep making the show, keep making it. But this show, it definitely gives me, you know what it gives me vibes of the old Justice League animated show. And you want to know what else? Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I still haven't watched that one, but I know of Justice League. I know what you're talking about with Justice League. I know about that one.
Okay. Moving on, how have you been enjoying the new Netflix animated series from Matt Groening, Disenchantment?
I really liked it. I still haven't watched all 10 episodes. I've only watched the first 7.
Right.
And I will say the pilot was really strong, and the other episodes kind of weren't always as strong after that. But I like that all 3 of the characters aren't perfect. I like that John DiMaggio's in it as the king. I like that, it's just like kind of like different kind of show than Futurama or The Simpsons. It's got a lot of admittedly humor in there, a lot of some Lord of the Rings, some Game of Thrones throw in there. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good show. I've been wanting to watch the last year, but just haven't had a chance to. But I really liked it. I actually got to interview Josh Weinstein, the showrunner, and it was pretty interesting. Where I guess Matt Groening had been working on this thing for like 8 years. He had this thing in his mind, so. He's had it there for a while, and
Trez MacNeille is Queen Una.
Mm-hmm.
So Maurice LaMarche is Oddval.
Yeah, it's got an amazing cast. It really does. A lot.
Do you like Lucy, Eric Andre's character?
Lucy?
Yeah, the demon.
Yeah, Lucy's actually pretty cool. Lucy's kind of funny. Lucy is good. Elfo is fun, and Bean I thought was great. Bean is just really cool. See, I thought the main characters are all wonderful, and Dreamland is a cool little, quirky little place.
Any standout jokes for you or anything?
It's kind of interesting where, because Bean, of course, is that character where she doesn't want to be a princess. She wants to, go out there and just kind of drink and have fun and go on adventures, and
kind of like Brave, right? Kind of like Merida and Brave.
And like Lucy and Elfo are just they're just like these 3 people who shouldn't be together, but they become friends, and they go on little zany adventures together. And it was a fun season. Like the first 7 episodes, I really had a blast watching it, and I'm looking forward to the next season because I think it got at least 20 episodes, so we're gonna at least get one more season, at least.
It looks like. Sorry, hold on. Let me adjust the volume a little bit. Having some feedback issues. Try that. Okay. Well, it looks like the show was doing very well. It apparently got 4 million viewers on Netflix.
Not bad.
That number's from Deadline.
Mm-hmm. Have you had a chance to watch it at all yet?
Not yet, but it's definitely in the queue, in my Netflix queue.
Yeah. It's fun. I like it. I mean, it's definitely it's.
Because I just finished up Voltron, and that was. Nice. I mean that was. It's a lot, when you have all these episodes and watch them together, right? Because normally in the old days we'd be watching them from week to week, and be talking about But I would definitely put these two shows over Lost in Space, which I don't care about seeing any more of
I don't
personally.
know how it's getting a second season. I'm still kind of surprised on that.
I guess it did well enough. Let's
But
see.
what's weird is they're doing a Death Note sequel too, which I thought
I
I
heard
didn't
about
hate it.
that.
I didn't hate it, but I heard a lot of people did not like it. So I'm kind of surprised it got a second movie.
See, let me see.
Like Bright isn't surprising. Doing another Bright, go right ahead. Bright was
Like
amazing.
Bright was
Doing
good.
another
Well,
Death Note.
Bright got bad reviews though.
I thought
So
it did really well though, didn't it?
it did well in terms of viewership, but it got
Okay.
bad reviews.
Oh, weird.
Death Note, I guess Death Note did well enough in terms of it. Look, Netflix has to keep generating new content for its platform, and I guess if enough people watch it, they have to have new stuff to keep delivering to subscribers. And I guess Netflix thinks Death Note fits the bill.
I
But
guess so.
the Hollywood Reporter says they're making another Death Note movie. So hopefully, I mean, I didn't like Death Note, but hopefully at least Willem Dafoe will come
Yeah, he
back
was good. He was like the only
as
good thing about
Ryuk.
it. But
To me,
so
he was the
speaking
only
on
good
it's
thing about that movie, honestly.
yeah, I agree. But speaking about TV news, kind of, I did get my favorite show, of course, Once Upon a Time. I had only seen half of season 7. I got a Blu-ray of it and finished it, and
Yeah.
actually the review went live yesterday or today, and I finally got to watch the whole season. And the interesting about the season, this is one of those shows where I think midway they said the show season 7 is its last, right? So I and I was like, I hadn't got a chance to watch the second half, and I did finally, and it was actually a pretty good ending. They did a good job. They made sure to make the fans happy, bring in all the players, and make a good story that made sense and was fluid and all that stuff. And I enjoyed it. I
Did
was
they
satisfied
finally
with the
destroy
ending.
Storybrooke?
Yeah. I was satisfied with how it ended. I was still bummed that it didn't get a season 8, but how they ended it was a satisfying ending. So I was glad to hear that. And of course, other TV news that I'm really excited about is, of course, Big Bang Theory being canceled. But
Why are you excited about that?
no, bummed about it. Bummed
You're
about
bummed about it. So
it. I
Big
love
Bang
that show.
Theory apparently is ending, I guess, after its which season is it? Is it this
12,
season?
12, 12. Yeah, 12th season. Which again, it's had a
I
good
think
run, but I love that show. You know.
I look, the show's been on since 2000. How much more can you really do with this show, Jay? Because
Yeah,
Leonard and Penny they're still together, right?
correct. They're married
Howard married Bernadette,
and
right?
had 2 kids. Correct.
Right. Sheldon and Amy got
Amy
married,
got
right?
married finally, and Mark Hamill married him, which was awesome.
Sheldon got a girlfriend.
Mhm.
They consummated their Sheldon got a girlfriend, consummated their relationship, and they got married. Like Sheldon got married. Okay,
Mhm.
what else? Raj, who could not talk to girls, can now talk to girls.
But
And
he's not having any luck in the girl department, man.
but his whole thing is that he couldn't talk to women unless he was drunk, right? And
Sure,
he got
sure,
over that. So
sure.
those were all the central running conflicts of the show
Mhm.
for a few seasons, and they've all kind of been resolved. So what else can you really do with those characters now?
Mhm. It's another bittersweet thing. I'm like, hey, it's had a good run, but it's another show I like. So what do you get?
I mean, has the show still been good to you these past few seasons?
I've still enjoyed it overall. It's had a few little misses here and there, but it's had a lot of really good like hits that kind of like
I
up
gotta
your
be
shit.
honest. I kind of feel after all the main characters started getting girlfriends and then getting married, and then Howard's mother died. To me, that's like, you don't really have a show anymore. Because Howard's whole thing was that he was like a mama's boy,
Mhm,
and he had that weird relationship with his mother,
mhm,
and then his mother died, and then like and then he married a woman who's a lot like his mother.
mhm.
Go figure.
True, true. And they
Um,
named their first kid after his mother, who has a weird cry. Yeah.
oh my god. So I
Mhm.
just feel like it's for the best, and I hope. I mean, I like I like those actors, and I hope they've saved their money, and my understanding is none of those actors will really. They wouldn't never have to work again a day in their lives.
Well,
Basically.
it's also on syndication. I'm sure they're
Yeah.
getting money with that too on reruns.
So provided they have good representation and management, they probably don't even have to work ever. Kind of like the Simpsons voice actors, they probably don't even have to work outside of that show. If
True.
they've cleaned up from the syndication rights.
Yeah, I think Johnny Galecki is probably going to be on the Connors, but that's probably the only one I know of who's going to do anything after the show.
Did he do any of the early Roseanne before it got yanked?
Yeah, he was on there.
The new one. I mean.
Yeah, he was on there a couple times.
Why? So did he and Darlene ever get married?
No, well, they did on the one before this new one, and they actually had a daughter.
Okay.
But on this one, they had been, I think, divorced for a while.
Because I think the connection there is that Big Bang Theory, and Roseanne had the same creator, Chuck Lorre.
You're right about that.
All right.
Well, that's a different network, but you might be right.
But let's see. So the show will have 12 seasons, over 250 episodes. So, yeah. I mean, that's longer, Jay. That's longer than Seinfeld was on.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's a bittersweet thing. It's had a good run.
Were you ever a fan? Did you ever watch Seinfeld?
I did here and there, but I never got hugely into it. But I did here and there.
I also liked. This is also longer. It's a longer run than Friends. Did you ever watch Friends?
That was. I did here and there, but I never got superbly into that one either. My sister.
I was big into for a while. I was big into Friends. Mm-hmm. That was when.
But like this is going to be another show where at least like we get an ending where we're going to know that, because like another show I did watch that was kind of irritating at the end was actually Ash vs. Evil Dead season 3. That came out on Blu-ray again on the 21st, so just about a week ago. And the problem with that show is it's a good season. It's probably one of its stronger seasons, but it ends on a cliffhanger, like many shows have. And I think I'm going to just guess this now. I don't know this confirmed, but I think that they didn't tell Bruce Campbell that it got canceled until after it ended, because I saw at one point they were trying to to do a petition to get the show on Netflix, and Bruce Campbell himself was like, "Thank you guys, but I'm not being Ash again. I'm done. No more Ash for me."
He says that now, but who knows?
I'm just saying, like,
actors say stuff like that, but history makes liars of us all, Jay.
But true, but it was just a bummer how the season ended, because you're like, I want to know what happens next, and it's just you're not going to know, so kind of like Young Justice all over again.
So unlike Ash versus Evil Dead, we won't have that issue with the Big Bang Theory.
That's true, which I like. And like I said, once upon a time,
you shouldn't be upset.
And like I said, once upon a time, I had the same thing. We got at least a satisfying end to it.
All right. So that's why you shouldn't be sad, because like when it shows on for like 6, 7 seasons or more, you're gonna get like an actual ending for the show, and it's not gonna be like a dumb cliffhanger ending. I was devastated when Farscape, which was one of my favorite shows, when that show originally ended, they canceled it, and it ended on a horrible cliffhanger where we didn't even know if they were gonna have a continuation or be able to sort of end that storyline. Thankfully, they did later with a mini series, but at the time when it ended, we had no idea what was going on. So it was sort of that was worse than bittersweet. It was devastating.
Yeah, and
from
other
a TV
weird
viewing standpoint. Twin Peaks, the second season, the note that one ended on, and we had to wait 25 years to get a continuation for that.
Yeah, and other weird TV news, they're bringing back Alf. I don't know why, but that's actually happening. I don't know why they're doing that.
We don't know what it's going to be.
I thought that Alf was coming back, though. Wasn't that confirmed? And
Hollywood Reporter says it's a TV reboot of Alf. Let's see here.
And they're going to do Murphy Brown. That is happening, which I don't know why they're doing that, but sure, why not? There's been talks of...
well, we don't know if those are getting picked up.
No, Murphy Brown is happening. That's
Did it
happening.
Actually get picked up? Because
because I think I've actually seen where it said this fall.
I heard they were trying to bring back Coach with The Incredibles, Bob Parr.
Yeah, that one I'm not sure about.
Craig T. Nelson.
Yeah, but Murphy Brown has been confirmed.
No, but my point is they did a pilot for Coach and it didn't get picked up, so it's not going to be on. So hold on, let me read this thing for Alf.
Okay.
So this is from Hollywood Reporter. Original writers Patchett and Paul Fusco are attached. No network is attached as of yet, and sources stress that the reboot is in very early development. So early development, that doesn't mean it's a done deal, okay?
It's not a done deal, but it's being talked about. Just like Frasier, they're talking about doing. I don't know if it's going to happen, but they're talking about it.
Well, because everything is getting revived or continued right now.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing to do.
But my point is
Because of Fuller House and all that.
But my point is, they're doing some stuff. You're like, they shouldn't do that. That doesn't just sound like a good idea to me, you know.
Murphy Brown does not sound like a good idea at all.
No, it doesn't. But it's happening.
So I think that apparently that one's happening on CBS
this fall, right? I think it's this fall.
USA Today, Murphy Brown, and the CBS comedy. This is from USA Today, which had a successful 10-year run, was so topical.
I never got into that show. It's before my time. I just never was really too into it.
So apparently they're going to do it. So it's apparently going to be very topical. Okay, so it's going to have 13 episodes this fall on CBS.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that one is set in stone.
Jay, I have not been following the TV return of Murphy Brown. I'm sad to say.
I just saw the trailer and was kind of in shock. I'm like, wow, they're doing that. Huh? Okay. Weird.
I mean, did we really need a revival of Murphy Brown?
No, we didn't, but it's happening anyway.
In 10, 15 years from now, are we going to be talking about the reboot of The Big Bang Theory? Think about that.
That, or we're going to have a reboot of that 70s show.
We'll get
like that 90s show.
There you go. We'll be continuing that 70s show, The Big Bang Theory, in 15 years. Won't that be awesome, Jay?
Yeah. So, but yeah, there's a number of shows coming out. They're also doing this. They're also doing this fall. I wish they weren't, but it's happening. They're doing the Goldberg spinoff called School that just looks atrociously bad. I don't know why they're
I like reboots for shows, or revivals for maybe shows that were like good and had potential, but maybe didn't really get to had really bad cliffhanger endings, like Twin Peaks or Farscape. Do continuations for those shows and not the ones that were on for forever and had good runs and already had like definitive endings. Really.
Yeah, because I even heard that Heroes continuation was pretty bad, and then I heard that the X-Files new episodes weren't that good either. I heard those both weren't that good.
Didn't they do 2 seasons? They did a couple seasons of that, didn't they?
Yeah, but Heroes, I think they did the Heroes Reborn. I heard it was really, really bad.
I didn't watch. I was never a big fan of Heroes.
Neither was I, but I heard fans were not happy.
All right, let's move on from that. Star Wars now. This show is coming out this fall.
Yes.
I think it's debuting soon.
Yeah, like in October.
Now, didn't we talk about how it had been a while and we weren't hearing anything about this show for a while, Jay?
Yeah, we weren't. And now we finally got a trailer, and I don't know. I wasn't that impressed by it. The animation looks really weird.
It looks weird. It looks cheap, doesn't it? Doesn't it look
cheap
to you?
It's not just cheap. You're just like,
it looks goofy.
Like, well, here's the thing. Like the animation in the past, like has been so top notch. It's like, why is this one so not notch? I don't understand. It's weird.
I don't think they're spending as much money on this show. This one's premiering October 7th.
Yeah, on Disney Channel.
On Disney, and then it'll move to Disney XD, I believe.
I just remember, like, when I watched the trailer, I think I even watched it more than once. I'm like, okay, it looks not a bad.
I'm on the YouTube page right now. Do you want to know how many upvotes this has gotten?
How many?
11,000. Huh. That's thumbs up. Do you want to know how many thumbs down it's gotten?
Probably 1 million.
87,000.
Okay.
So that's pretty high.
Yeah,
it's 87. It's gotten 87,000 thumbs down versus 11,000 thumbs up.
Well, here's the thing about the trailer, because like it sounds like the story doesn't sound bad. It's a new character again, Resistance. Fine, it's gonna. I think they've even said they're gonna have people.
I'm gonna watch this show. Like,
yeah, I'll probably check it. I'll check it out too, but it's a show where like I'll give it a chance, but if I'm not impressed, bye. That's it for me.
it looks very it looks like they're going for an even younger demographic than Star Wars Rebels. It looks like it's going for a younger audience, I guess.
And I think this is going to be a show, sadly, where it has so much potential, but I think it's going to miss its mark for some reason. It's just going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. But okay. I fear that may be the way it goes.
So apparently this show will be set right before, I think, a short time before The Force Awakens, is my understanding.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was like years before that.
It might be let me see. I mean, Dave Filoni he created this show. He created Rebels and
Clone Wars, which they're bringing that back, or they're doing that final season.
They're doing like that final season of Clone Wars.
Yeah.
It's decades after. Okay, so this show is set months before The Force Awakens.
Huh.
So that's
kind of a weird choice.
So the main character is Kazuda Shiono, who's played by Christopher Sean. We know that Oscar. I mean, we see Poe Dameron in the trailer.
Yeah, I think they said Gwendolyn. I think they said Gwendolyn Christie was going to come.
Phasma will be in the show, and Poe Dameron will be in the. Oscar Isaac will be back as Poe Dameron. We know.
I guess what I find weird about this show too is you had a 30-year gap. Why just do a few months before Force Awakens? You could have done like years or decades. I don't know why you didn't do that. It's kind of weird.
I mean, they still could be. For all they might be doing another show after this.
Well, I know that Jon Favreau's in that live action one that's going to be The Mandalorian. So they're saying, and that's
not official though.
That's why I'm saying they're saying. I'm not saying it's official. But
his show is set. His show is going to be set like 4 years after Return of the Jedi, though.
Yeah, which I think that's going to make more sense.
So then, why would it be about Mandalorians?
That's just what I've heard. Okay, it doesn't, like I said, it's not written in stone yet.
Where have you heard that?
I want to say I heard that online somewhere, but like I said, I'm not saying it's written.
I mean, I hear a lot of stuff online. That doesn't make it true.
I'm not saying it is true. That's the thing. This time, I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying that's what I've heard. It doesn't mean it's true.
Well, Donald Faison is in this show too. I mean, I'm gonna give this the same chance as I will anything else, but I'm not impressed with what I've seen. This show, like they said, this show was supposed to have an anime-inspired look. It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it's been anime-inspired at all.
No, it doesn't.
Like Voltron clearly is inspired by anime, right?
And so is Batman Ninja. I mean, Batman Ninja is anime. So I don't know.
This doesn't look that style at all. So I don't know why they marketed it that way, or I don't know why they hyped that up.
I don't know. Like I said, like this is a show I might give a little bit of a chance, but I'm not too excited for it right now, which is a bummer because I want to be excited about it, but I'm not.
I think the main character. I think what kind of hurts the show for me is all the goofy faces they're making. You know, like. Star Wars Rebels had some humor in it, had some silliness in it at times, but you never saw characters making like really Looney Tune-ish kind of faces.
We did not.
I think because the characters in this show, they look a little obnoxious, don't they, Jay?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so, but look, the trailers might be underselling this show a bit. It could be better than expected. So let's wait and see.
True. So
we only have to wait. We only have to wait about another month and a half for this one. So but I kind of feel like I know why they weren't pushing this show at Comic-Con. Don't you agree?
Yeah. So I think this is a show that we'll definitely be talking about more in the future, and hopefully it'll be more positive.
But didn't it seem odd to you that we went through most of the summer and we didn't see almost anything about this show until now?
Yeah.
Until just a few weeks before, excuse me, until just a few weeks before it's supposed to debut in October, we finally see something. So don't you think that's a little weird? And do you think that I kind of think they were expecting a negative reaction? Do you think I'm wrong?
No, I don't. I think you're right.
All right.
Shall we go to video game news now?
Yeah.
So I'll jump into mine first because you'll like this one. So I got through Capcom a review code for Mega Man X Collection 1 and 2.
1 or 2. Wow.
I got both, and I've only gotten to play one so far. But here's the thing for me, like, I remember playing 1 pretty vividly.
Yeah.
2 and 3, I remember a bit, but I don't think I ever beat 2 or 3. And I finally beat 2 and 3. And I'll say, 2 and 3 were actually really fun games, but God, 3 was real harder than it should have been. I think 3 should have been so tough. Like I remember with 3,
2 and 3 are very they're tough games.
well, 3 was one that was really, really tough for me. 2 was tough, but I could still get through it tough. 3 was like, because I remember for 3, like I couldn't even get through the first boss, and I had to do this. I'm not proud of it, but I had to go online and get the foot upgrade because pretty much in the game, and I guess I could have played a 0 through most of it,
Well,
but most of the game
you should get all the upgrades anyway.
well, most of the game though, you need that foot upgrade to like beat the first boss, like to get through all the levels. You need that foot upgrade,
for X3 or X1?
X3, because X1 is right there. You don't have to go looking for it. It's right there. Right. X3, just trying to get. I tried like 20 times to get the damn thing, and I couldn't get it.
Not even try to get the upgrades for the other games?
No, I did. I got them for all the other games. I got them for X1 and X2.
Did you get the Hadoken?
I tried to. No, I didn't get it. I tried.
You got the Dragon Punch for X2.
I did, and I couldn't get the damn thing to work. I kept trying to do it, and it wouldn't work. So I was like, "What the hell with this?" But anyways,
I mean, I'll tell you, Mega Man X. I mean, I've said it before; it's my favorite game. And the Hadoken upgrade in Mega Man X is like my favorite game secret ever.
Probably. It was fun. I tried to get it, I couldn't get it. But I will say this though, playing 1 again was fun. It's kind of weird, and 1 is the only time you see Sigma has a dog. Like after that, no more Sigma dog. Sure, why not? But okay. And I actually had to fight Zero in freaking X2, and that was more torturous than I thought it was going to be, but I was able to get through it.
Velgarder. The dog is Velgarder.
And and even I will say Doppler was kind of disappointing, but at least I was able to beat him, so I guess it wasn't too bad. But I actually got the gold armor, so that was kind of cool in X3. So I got that. That was really cool.
What's your favorite? What do you think of the X collection? Which do you think is the best overall game?
Geez. Like I said, I haven't been because I haven't played 4 yet again, which I played it before, but it's been a long time, and I haven't even gotten started on collection 2 yet, which has X5, 6, 7, and 8. Because I never played 8.
The later games are not as beloved as the original.
I liked 5 and 6 still, but 6 was kind of where it kind of started to go downhill.
And 4 is not, and you don't even get to really get a full playthrough as 0 until Mega Man X4. You can play as 0. You can play as 0 in Mega Man X3, but if you run out of energy, if you run out of life points, you can't play as 0 anymore. You get switched back to X.
Yeah. So it was kind of weird in X3. The X3 they had all that rhyme armor too. That was kind of weird. So there was a lot of weird things they did in X3 that I didn't fully understand.
I don't know. I love these games, and I love the first 3 Mega Man X games. I think are.
I had a lot of. I think that for me 2 was actually probably the most fun, even though Sigma was probably pretty goddamn torturous, but it was still kind of fun. I still had fun playing.
You not only need the upgrades to beat these games. You need the other weapons from the other Mavericks. From and you need to know the weaknesses of each boss, because each boss has a weakness to our particular weapon. So you need to know their attack patterns. But the best thing though is when you get the Hadoken, you can one-shot the dog Velgarder, and you can one-shot in the first game. You can one-shot Sigma in his first form when he has a lightsaber, basically.
So it didn't work on the giant wolf robot.
It does work. Yes, it works on Velgarder. It works on
Velgarder. I mean, his final form when he's attached to the giant wolf robot, you can't use the Hadouken on him.
No, you can use it on his when he has the lightsaber. You can use it.
Yeah, interesting.
You can use it then. But
I think 2 was my favorite.
Have you tried the X collection also has that boss, that special mode where
which I haven't done that yet. I haven't done the challenge yet. No,
you haven't done the X challenge.
But I liked 2 the most because somehow I remembered most of the weaknesses of the bosses. Although it was weird, some of the bosses, if you knew their weakness, they were really easy to beat. Others, it seemed to make them a little bit easier, but they were still kind of challenging. Like beating that Magna Centipede guy without his tail was still kind of hard.
I like the second one because they have those optional boss fights, and that can actually you can get different endings in different
Yeah.
You can change the story depending on how you play the second game.
Yeah, I was able to beat the first two X Hunters, but I couldn't beat the guy with the sword. I couldn't beat him. I couldn't get him in time.
I guess the reason I love Mega Man X so much is because you have the wall climb ability from the outset, and that just opens up the games. Playing Mega Man 11 at E3, I was like, man, I wish I had Mega Man X's wall climb.
Wait, they had a demo of that there?
What was that?
Damn, I didn't get to play that. I wish I had.
Yeah,
That
I got to play. Yeah, so I got to play Mega Man 11 at E3.
I think the line was always too crazy. I think is right.
It did. I was able to get in. I was able to get squeezed in. So
Nice.
my point is that I'm so used to playing Mega Man. I'm more of a Mega Man X fan than I am a Mega Man series fan.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so used to that, having that wall, where you can jump on the wall and just keep jumping on the wall, like scale up a wall by jumping off of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wish Mega Man had that ability, because it's a lot harder to play that game without.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't get a review code, because you probably could have gotten one. If I got one, you probably could have gotten one.
I didn't really. I probably could have asked for one, but I didn't get offered it, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, like it's just like I've only played 1, 2, and 3 so far, but it was kind of fun getting to play them again. I did get offered
a review code for NBA 2, for NBA Live.
The 2K19.
No, not 2K. I think the EA.
Oh.
So NBA Live 19, but I don't know if I'm gonna do that one. I did get Fire. I did.
Fun.
One game I got today though was Fire Pro Wrestling World, which is finally on PlayStation 4. So
tell me about this game. So how is this different from other wrestling games?
Well, you know what WWE is, right?
Yes.
So WWE is World Wrestling Entertainment. They're the biggest wrestling promotion in the world. Sure. So this game features another organization called New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is sort of a Japan-based wrestling promotion, and it also has just some various made-up pro wrestlers. But what I love about this game is that it uses sort of sprites. It uses sort of 16. It has classic 16-bit type graphics and sprites, kind of so it looks more like a 16-bit game than a next gen game.
Now what company did this?
The gameplay. Hold on. The gameplay, you can simulate an actual pro wrestling match in this thing better than you can in any other game on the market. Basically, better than any mainstream WWE game. And you can cut. Basically, in this game, the creation suite for this game, if you think it, you can pretty much put it in this game, basically.
Wow. So what company did this game?
Spike. It's called Spike Chunsoft or Chunsoft. It's based in Japan. It's primarily a Japanese series, but it gained sort of a cult following in the U.S.
How many fighters do you get to play as?
Let's see. Of real wrestlers. Mm-hmm. Hold on. A pretty sizable roster. Of real wrestlers, let's see. Looks like you have over 30, but here's what's great about this game. You can make hundreds, and you can download them straight from the official website and download them to your game if you sync it with your PlayStation Network account. That's a great thing about this game. You have PlayStation Network, right?
Yes.
So if you log on to the internet and log on to PlayStation Network, you can sync the game's official website to your PlayStation Network account and go from the website and go, okay, so some users created this guy. They created John Cena. I can click download John Cena and it'll go straight to your game if your console is hooked up to Wi-Fi, basically. That's kind of just the beauty of technology now with Wi-Fi and digital connectivity. You can kind of get everything transferred over just like that. So
is there like a tournament mode and a story mode, or like?
yeah. There's a story mode. There's a tournament mode. There's championships. Pretty much, if you're a wrestling fan, this is the game you've been waiting for. So if you like pro wrestling, I highly recommend getting Fire Pro Wrestling World. It's on Amazon.com. They're not sponsoring us, so I'm being serious. We're not being sponsored by Fire Pro. It's only $49.99. You're not going to pay what you're going to have to pay to get WWE 2K19 this year. And this will be a much better
when
game.
is it out now, or does
Better.
it come out soon?
It came out today, so it's out now. You can go on Amazon and buy it right now. So
and it's on like PlayStation, Xbox, and Game.
No, it's only on Steam PC and PlayStation 4.
Okay. So no Xbox or Nintendo. Okay.
Not at the moment, but let's see. Maybe in the future it could get ported, but I think for right now it's only on it's only on PlayStation 4 and Windows PC for right now.
But you seem to really like it so far.
I love it. The last one we got in the US was Fire Pro Wrestling Returns about 10 years ago, which was on PS2 and PS3. So it's been a while since we had one of these games in the US. Mm-hmm. So I'm very happy we got this game. If you get it on Amazon, you get an almanac, which has a guide to all the official the real life wrestlers that are in the game. So that's another reason you might want to get it on Amazon if you're a fan of pro wrestling. So.
All right. So I think the last thing we have to talk about is the.
But in terms of no, hold on. There's a couple other gaming things that got announced. Streets of Rage 4. Did you hear about that? Remember Streets of Rage?
Before my.
All right. Well, Streets of Rage 4 is coming. That's coming out. It just got announced this week. Mm-hmm. So this is the long-awaited sequel to Streets of. So the last Streets of Rage game came out in 1994. So it's been 24. Fans of the series have been waiting for 24 years. Wow. We got a trailer. It looks interesting. I'm not totally sold on it, but I am excited about that. And we got another trailer for the Insomniac Spider-Man game that we played at E3, and that'll be out. That's coming out soon.
Yeah, you're right. It comes out the next few weeks, I think.
I believe September 7th. So, like, I guess a week from Friday.
Yeah, that's not far from now. You're right.
Yeah. That's coming soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be out here soon. So, there's. I don't know if there's. I can't think of much more video game news besides it right now, though. But yeah, there's some of that right now.
The new Smash Brothers game is coming out.
About Smash Brothers, I'll say this: people on Pinterest have been very kind with my review of that. I've actually gotten a lot of repins for that, so people seem to love that. And we got those interesting reveals where we're going to have two people from Castlevania now, and King K. Rool and Darkseid. Right. So there's been some interesting reveals for characters that I'm really excited to play as. We didn't get to play them. We didn't get to play them at E3, and I think it's going to be an amazing game.
I played it at E3.
But I mean, they didn't have those characters in there.
Oh no, we didn't get to play.
Yeah, those characters weren't there. That's what I mean. I got to play it too. They didn't have the characters.
And at Comic-Con.
Yeah. So
it looks like there's going to be a special edition bundle and new controllers for the game. You can buy the special edition for $140 on December 7th. So
yeah, that game's going to be huge. That's going to be a big one.
It looks. I imagine it'll be huge for the esports scene as well.
Yeah, I imagine.
All right.
So I think the last thing we have is the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 thing, right? The news.
Right. So now this is not official from Marvel, but I think it came from the Hollywood Reporter that Guardians of the Galaxy production has been put on hold.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and again, I have heard unofficial, but I thought I heard a rumor they were pushing forward a Doctor Strange 2 instead. But again, that's not confirmed.
Well, I mean, they were going to do a Doctor Strange 2 anyway. Here's what the Hollywood Reporter said. The production of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is being put on hold for the time being as Marvel and Disney regroup on the project. Sources say that crew members at this stage or a small group prepping for pre-production are being dismissed and are free to look for new work. Now, of course, there's been a whole thing with James Gunn being let go by Marvel, and apparently he's not going to be brought back. The timeline has been pushed out, says a source. Disney has never set a release date for the film.
Yeah, Dave Bautista was kind of not too happy about it at certain different points of the process. And at one time they even wanted to bring in James's brother, maybe, right? And that never happened either, I guess.
What do you mean?
I thought like they wanted to bring in like another Gunn to like do it or something. I thought. But that may have never been confirmed either.
I don't think so. Who would have done it?
I thought that James had a brother. Am I wrong?
He has two. I believe he has two brothers, but I don't know if I mean, what? His Sean Gunn's gonna write and direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't think it was anything that was ever confirmed.
He's not. I mean, Sean Gunn, he plays Kraglin in both movies. I don't think he would be the writer director because he's never even directed a movie before. I don't think they would do that.
I don't think either. Like I said, I don't think it was ever confirmed. But
no,
like I said, I don't think it was ever confirmed. Is what I'm saying. But
I think Batista is kind of going. He's going crazy over this. I think he needs to cool it a little bit. Disney might get rid of him.
I thought he had finally cooled it. Last I saw, I thought he had cooled it finally.
No, not at all. I understand how he feels, but I'm like, bring it down a little bit.
I guess the last thing we can talk about was it's just silly, and there's actually two levels of silly to it. So first of all, and I don't know who started this, but someone was going so far as saying like, Idris Elba's gonna be the next Bond. I think it went so far as Idris Elba.
Do we have to talk about this?
It's just a funny example of why you don't believe what you read on the internet. Because I think he went as far himself.
You want to know how this started? It came from a fake tabloid news story, and then like Vanity Fair reported it, and then all these clickbait websites started reporting it.
And I think he went on Twitter himself and said, "Yeah, this isn't happening." I think he did.
Idris Elba said that, and then but it didn't even come from Idris Elba. It was like Antoine Fuqua said he talked to the Bond producers and said we're gonna cast Idris Elba is like our front runner. No one ever said that.
So it was just an example of like someone just trying to make a story that was never going to happen, had no presence to it.
I'm not saying Idris Elba would never play James Bond. I'm just saying that story is fit. Like that story was made up, basically.
It is. And then of course I saw later, which was even more ridiculous, was someone tried to say, "Oh, Wallace Shawn's gonna be the next James Bond." I'm like, come on now.
Who?
At least Idris Elba won for a minute. Like I could at least see him being Bond, but Wallace Shawn, come on, not in a billion years. Not even close. That? It was again someone I think who was trying to get clickbait again, saying that Wallace Shawn was gonna be the next Bond.
Wallace Shawn is 74 years old.
I know. That's why it was an article where you're like, you're grasping at straws now. It's yes.
Was Jay? That was the Onion.
Again, I'm not.
Onion. The Onion's a parody news website. Jay.
It was just it made me laugh. But I was like, yeah, nice try.
Jay, it was a purposeful joke.
Yeah, well, it was a good thing it was because it was ridiculous.
Do you know what even know what the Onion is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's where that article came from.
Yeah, maybe it made me laugh. Maybe that's why.
All right. Well. Don't even. I mean, look. I'll tell you what did happen with James Bond. Danny Boyle is no longer the director. He was supposed to direct it for a while. Let me see. Okay, so this is from Variety. Danny Boyle exits Bond 25 due to creative differences. Oh, and it was on the official James Bond Twitter. Michael G. Wilson, Barbara Broccoli, and Daniel Craig today announced that due to creative differences, Danny Boyle has decided to no longer direct Bond 25. So that's as official as it gets. Okay, because that's.
I think there's official too. There's been one or two more casting announcements for Episode 9, right?
Yeah, I think Kerry Russell. I think we know Billy D. Williams, and who was the other actor?
There was someone I saw where I think it was an actual official, like, hey, they're in this now too, but I can't remember who off the top of my
head. Matt Smith.
Yes, that was it. Yeah, one of the doctors, so he's going to be in it now, which is kind of cool.
That was on Flash Film.
And I'm excited to see what he's going to play because that'd be a pretty cool choice, I think.
I don't want to speculate on who he's going to play.
I'm not going to either. I'm just excited to see it.
Let's see. Well. Apparently he's in it. That came out today. That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
yeah,
All right.
that
So
came
this
out today.
comes from Variety, so that's a pretty good indication that it's true. Richard E. Grant. Oh, Dominic Monaghan from Lost in Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings.
that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah, like, so there's some cool little. So that film is starting to shape up, but of course, like Avengers 4, we have no clue what it's going to be called yet. It's just
We don't even know if they're playing major characters either. That's the other thing.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
How many how many new characters can you even add in a movie like this? You know, with all these, because you have to. Because look, you already have John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, and Oscar Isaac, and then you have.
Didn't they kill Admiral Akbar in 7 or 8? He died in one of them.
He died in episode 8. Yeah.
Yeah, so Akbar's gone.
Well, Akbar wasn't a major character in these films in the first place. We know Mark Hamill will be back in Sun form.
Yeah.
Anthony Daniels back as
I've
C-3PO.
heard a rumor about Qui-Gon, but that's just rumor again. That's not written.
Why would Qui-Gon be in the movie?
It's just a rumor. It doesn't mean it's going to be true.
Wait, I mean, where do you find these rumors, Jay? I mean, you were quoting a rumor from The Onion 2 minutes ago. Like, come on.
I'm also tired. It's been a long week.
All right.
Long last couple weeks.
All right.
But,
well, apparently Carrie Fisher is going to be in the film using archival and unreleased footage. So we know that. And
so I think
we know they're filming episode 9 now, and apparently they'll be filming it through
February. And sadly they're doing a Jungle Cruise movie. I don't know why they're doing that.
What's your problem with a Jungle Cruise movie?
It's just not a good idea.
Why is it not a good idea? The Rock's in it, Emily Blunt's in it. That's a good cast.
But The Rock is hit or miss. He does some good stuff, but he does some really bad stuff too.
This could be. I mean, you love Jumanji. Why can't this be good?
I'm just we'll see. Okay, I need to see a trailer.
Why are you being so close? Like Jumanji, welcome.
No, Jumanji was great. They're doing a sequel to that.
All right, so why? Maybe this could be. You know, what if this could be just as good?
Or it could be Haunted Mansion, which is a nightmare.
All right, or look, the Haunted Mansion movie was not very good. Okay, but Pirates of the Caribbean was good, right?
And where did I read this too? Because let me see if this was actually. If I should now.
I'm not. I think this could be a good movie, Jay. You shouldn't be prejudiced.
Now let me ask you this: is comingsoon.net a good site or is that a liar site?
I think they're decent. Yeah.
Okay, so if that's true, then
they get most of their stories.
So do you hear weird news where Tom Hardy's saying he's contracted for 3 Venom movies already? Is that weird to you?
No. I mean, that seems pretty normal for these big franchises.
But the problem is, I don't know about you, but I know me. I'm not excited about Venom. I want to be, but I'm not.
I'm not that excited about Venom either, but they're making the movie, and
because Hollywood did this with.
They're hoping it's going to be successful.
But it probably won't.
No, he didn't tell this to coming soon. This is the point. The interview was with not coming soon. It was with Toto Film. Let's see. We've signed up for 3 of them. So he's saying he's signed up for 3 movies. That's pretty normal, though. When you have like a comic book franchise, that you'll get a lead actor signing up for like 3 or more. That's the normal thing these days.
But my point is, they did this with the last 2 Terminator movies, hoping they were both going to be trilogies, and they both didn't do anywhere near as well as I hoped.
I'm sure. Look, I'm sure it happens with a lot of movies that bomb. Like I'm sure Ghostbusters. I bet a lot of those actors probably signed up.
They were actually supposed to do a sequel to Battleship eventually at first, but it did so bad. Never mind.
Of course. I look. It's not. It happens with a lot of movies that studios are hoping will be franchises, but they never materialize. I'm sure it probably happened with Remember the Golden Compass?
Yeah, I do.
Some years back. I'm sure they were hoping that was going to be a franchise, and it just didn't pan out. So I think ever since like Lord of the Rings, they try to get those big actors locked down for like a bunch of movies.
Yeah.
And I think Venom is just no exception.
What they should do is they should do another Mad Max, because Fury Road was actually a good Mad Max. That I would.
I think to do another Mad Max, they would have to resolve. Warner Brothers would have to resolve its legal issues with George Miller. There's a lot. I think there's still a pending lawsuit over that, and I don't think I don't think he ever was like definitively like he would never do it. I think he would be open to do another one, but I think Tom Hardy would be willing to do another one. I'm just not sure what's going to happen. They'd have to, because there was a lawsuit regarding Fury Road. I want to say.
Could have been.
Let me see here. Fury, yeah, George Miller. Yeah, it started last November. George Miller suing Warner Brothers for a $7 million bonus for Mad Max. Excuse me, Fury Road. This is from Deadline. So that would have to get resolved for them to make another before they would make a sequel. So, all right,
So
I think that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's probably it. Yeah. Actually, yeah.
All right. So, Jay, anything you want to tell people to check out next?
Yeah, well, first of all, I find like my review, of course, of Disenchantment is online. My review of season 7 of Voltron is online. I finally posted today on my YouTube, Movie Seeker 23, my interviews for all the people from San Diego Comic Con for Batman the Image series coming to Blu-ray, which is now I think October 30th is when they push that back to, but it is coming out the whole series on Blu-ray. And you can also, of course, check out my Once Upon a Time season 7 review just went live. My Ash vs. Evil Dead season 3, my Walking Dead season 8. So I've got a couple of DVD season reviews lately on there. And yeah, that's all that's on there lately you can check out. And of course, my interview with the showrunner of Disenchantment as well is also on my
with Josh Weinstein, right?
Yeah, on the Good Men Project, correct.
So go to check out my review of The Meg and more of my reviews and interviews on 411mania.com. I will be reviewing the Blu-ray for Deadpool 2 and the unrated cut of Deadpool 2, and also coming up Solo, a Star Wars story on Blu-ray, and some very exciting things I can't talk about. Hopefully, hopefully my interview with CM Punk will be up by next week. So fingers crossed that we will get CM Punk on the phone.
Yeah, I think in the near future for us, we might have. Are you going to go see The Nun? Because I got that.
The Nun and probably the Predator.
Yeah, Predator.
So, I think we'll be talking. So we'll probably be talking about the Nun and Predator on here sooner rather than later.
In the next couple of weeks, absolutely.
Right. And so we'll have and then the fall movie season is right around the corner.
Yeah, and of course the fall
award
TV
season
is going to start in September and October, so that's going to start.
Right, Goblin Slayer debuts in October. Everyone be sure to check out Goblin Slayer when it starts.
The big thing in October is season 2 of Castlevania. That's going to be huge. I can't wait.
Goblin Slayer is going to be better than Castlevania.
I don't know.
Yeah,
pretty damn good.
Huh? Castlevania is good. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but Goblin Slayer is going to be the biggest show of the season. I said it here first. I'm Jeffrey Harris. He's Jay Snook of the Good Men Project. Thank you. And this is Hollywood Purgatory, where the entertainment industry comes to get judged. Thank you.